In this episode, we'll be talking about how to finally launch your online course.
Welcome to the Online Course Coach Podcast, brought to you by TrueFocusMedia.com. Whether you're a beginner or expert, this is the podcast for the latest in online course creation tips, news, interviews, and ideas. And here's your coach, Jeff Long.
Welcome back to another episode of the Online Course Coach Podcast. And whether you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, or like somebody just recently emailed and said they just Googled Online Course Coach and I came up, I am so glad that you are listening to this episode. So no matter where you are in that spectrum, thanks for listening. And you probably know we talk about anything ranging from marketing your course to building your course to how to best position it, sell it, and everything in between. But today I want to talk about really how to launch your online course. And maybe you've never launched your course before. Maybe you need to relaunch it or launch a new course. These strategies will really help you. But right before we get into that, I want to say a couple things. Firstly, I have an upcoming training that I'm doing. But the first thing I want to talk about is, I've worked with a lot of course creators, whether coaching them, doing it from my agency work, where we work with a lot of companies and online influencers to build their courses. And one of the top struggles is the amount of work it takes. And, there's various ways to do this. You can do it yourself. You can hire, an agency. You can hire a coach. And I recommend all of those, of course. But you can also outsource your course. You can outsource various aspects of your course. Maybe that's the video portion, the editing portion, the graphics, the setup, the tech, the website, the marketing, the paid ads. There are a lot of different types of pieces of the puzzle, I guess, where you could outsource. And so I'm going to have a special personalized training course built just for you. And if you are interested in outsourcing your course, now I'm not talking about outsourcing all the content, all of you, all of your personality. Your course needs to be your course. You can get some help, right? You don't have to do it alone. And that's really when my business scaled, was years ago when I brought in team partners and teammates and employees and freelancers and just had a team around me. And that's been one of my biggest points of, where I was able to turn my business tremendously and grow it exponentially. So I'll be having a personalized training course called Outsource Your Course. So if you go to outsourceyourcourse.com, you can get on that waiting list to get a personalized training course built just for you and really with you, because I'll be taking feedback. Some of this will be doing live. Some of it will be doing through some different types of strategies. And I'm only accepting a few people to this initial phase. So if you want to sign up, if you want to get interested, we're not, I'm just taking signups right now. So we're not scheduling this yet. We're just taking signups. So if you're interested on learning how to outsource parts of your course, just go to outsourceyourcourse.com and you can sign up for that. And you can get on that waiting list. I'll be reaching out to you to learn more of your needs, see if you're a fit, and see if it's something you want to participate in. Now, the second thing I want to get in, I don't want to dive into this too deeply because I really want this episode to be really positive, really motivational, and helping you to finally launch your course. But a couple weeks ago, I went to a conference, and it was a really good conference, a multi-day conference. I only went to a few of the workshops and sessions, but every single speaker talked for 45 to 60 minutes, and then they sold a course. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, "Oh, this is great!" I'm looking to learn. I'm looking for strategies. I even went up to one of the speakers afterwards, and I told her, what I do and who I was. She's like, "Oh, I need your help," and I gave her my card, and we've been able to talk. So that was really cool. But most, not all, most of the speakers would talk for 45 to 60 minutes, and I'll be honest, they didn't say anything helpful. And this conference, the topic was something I was very interested in, very invested in, I paid a decent amount of money to attend this conference, and I was so disappointed. The The topics were really interesting. The people were dynamic and very interesting. Some of them were nationally and internationally known individuals and speakers, but again, they didn't say anything. I was amazed. I was baffled, and I kind of talked to some people that I met throughout the conference, and I was like, "Are you learning anything?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's okay, and really, all their goals were to sell their courses. And hey, I love courses. You love courses. That's why you're listening. But if you're not giving value before you sell your course, people aren't going to buy your course. I looked at the people going to the back of the room and I felt bad for them. I felt like they were suckers almost. And I'm sure most of those courses are top notch, but I didn't know that because of the content they were giving before their sales. So I want to encourage you, especially in your marketing, in your positioning, in your email sequences, in your Facebook Lives, in your podcasts, in your writing, whatever it is, make sure to show value, and don't just show that you are the most knowledgeable person about a given topic. Make sure you give enough value, give enough content. I was just stunned at how this conference went. And maybe because I go to so many really good conferences like Social Media Marketing World and FinCon and Podcast Movement, and the list goes on, where I think a lot of those conferences, they're not allowed, speakers are not allowed to pitch their course, their book, their whatever from the stage. And that's really good. That's really refreshing, because I think you should be giving value first. And listen, we all know when I go to those conferences, I know those people have stuff for sale and I might buy them, but I at least get to know them, see the value and things like that. So anyway, just a word to the wise, a little bit of encouragement. Make sure you are building trust and giving a lot of content to your audience. All right, so let's get into how to finally launch your online course. These are 10 tips that I recommend. So whether you're listening to this in a brand new year, maybe it's January, February, whatever that is, maybe it's far in the future from when I'm recording this. Maybe it's 2030, who knows? And if it's 2030, could you send me a hoverboard or something cool? That'd be awesome. Anyway, so the first thing, when you're thinking through your course, maybe you're discouraged. You're like, Jeff, I've been listening to you for a while. I've been wanting to make a course. I've been thinking about a course. I've been dreaming about a course. I haven't been able to get it done. So these 10 topics are perfect for you. So the first one is know your why. If you're just doing this course thing because, everybody's talking about it, kind of seems like a cool thing and an in-style thing, and every conference I go to, people are talking about courses and how fun they are and how, you put in 5 minutes and you make $500 million and you never have to work a day in your life. That's all not true. You have to know your why. One of my whys, and I say this at the end of the podcast, is I really want to help you to teach many that will impact millions. So I don't have to teach hundreds of thousands and millions of people myself. If I can help you, the audience, and you can teach many, and those people can impact millions, imagine how cool that is, right? The domino effect, the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, whatever you want to call it, is pretty cool. So I don't have these grand visions of me being an international speaker and blah, blah, blah. I just want to help some people. And it is my goal to help 5 million people in 5 years. And that is a large goal. But I don't have to have 5 million coaching clients or 5 million people in my course or listening to this podcast even. I just need to have some people that are really good teachers, that are really passionate about what they do. They are going to teach people who are also going to teach people. And that's really my why. So what's your why? Is it just money? Is it just fame or influence? Know your why. And hey, if it is money, that's fine. I don't, we all need money to pay the bills, to eat. But know what your why is. And that will make things so much easier. If you're doing this just because it's in style or a fad, this course thing, you're not going to make it. All right, number 2 is get off the sideline. I meet a lot of people that have an idea for a course. Well, that's great. I have tons of ideas. In fact, at times it's frustrating because I can easily get sidetracked with the amount of courses or ebooks or publications or podcasts or all these different things, videos, obviously, videos that I want to do. But if I don't know my why, if I don't have a solid plan, I'm not going to be able to execute on that. So get off the sideline. If you have an idea, take the best idea. If you have many ideas, let's say, take the best idea and move on with that this year. Now, a lot of times people are on the sideline because they have fear. And they fear maybe one of two things. One is they fear failure, right? What if I put all this time, all this money, and it doesn't work? That would stink, right? I'd be out all that money. I'd be out all that time. Well, I don't look at it that way. I look at it as an investment. So let's say you do spend a lot of time and some money, and it doesn't sell well. Your course doesn't sell well. You can revamp the course. You can modify the course. You can survey your audience to find out why they didn't buy and help serve them in a better way. Listen, all the things you learned while you were building your course, you can build another course. That's the beauty of this thing is once you learn the system, once you learn what works, once you have that audience, you can serve them in multiple ways. Maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's mastermind groups. Maybe it is courses. Maybe it's live events. Maybe it's, Facebook, private groups. There's a lot of ways to serve your audience. So if you have fear, face it and get over it. Now, some of you might have the fear of success. What if this does get too big and I have to hire people and I don't know how to manage people? Well, before we get to that point, why don't we just make the course? And if and when your course gets too big and you have to hire people, you know what? I bet you'll figure it out. Or you'll find a coach or somebody that can help you figure it out. So if you have fear of failure or success, face it and get off the sideline. Now, number 3 is kind of like with number 2, with your fear, just know that other people are doing this and they're having success. They're creating courses, they're building their audience, their influence, their impact. And if other people can do it, why can't you? I've always had that attitude. I know that Steve Jobs had a quote probably back in the 80s. He has an interview online on YouTube. And he says, once I figured out that most people are the same, no better than me, I'm not a genius, I'm not any smarter or whatever than them, I was able to learn that I could really impact and influence the world. He talks about if you poke something, it'll come out the other side or whatever. And I think that's a really interesting example is, you can make a difference. And I can guarantee this. I've worked with a lot of people. Since 2003, I've been doing this. And most people aren't any smarter than you, better than you, more capable of you than you. So if they can do it, why can't you do it? I know you can. So again, if other people are doing this course thing, building an audience, I know you can. Because if they could overcome that struggle, if they could overcome the technology challenges, let's face it, some of the hardest things with courses is the technology, whether it's videos or marketing or the tech to put your course or deliver it or all that taking the money, all that stuff. It's challenging, right? But here's the good part. It's challenging, and that stops a lot of people. So if you can do it, then why not try? Even if you think you can do it, why not try? And if other people can do it, why not try? Number 4, think of what it will cost you if you don't make your course. What's it going to cost? You're going to spend another year hoping, dreaming, wishing you had a course, thinking about, I could just help more people. I talk about the 3 I's: impact, influence, and income. So what will it cost you if you don't make your course? Well, you won't have the impact maybe that you want. You won't have that influence that you want. You won't have that income that you desire. So think about the cost if you don't make your course, because there's definitely cost if you do it, right? But there's also cost if you don't do it. So, okay, if you don't do your course, yeah, you might save yourself a couple months of work. And we're not talking, 40-hour weeks for 6 months. We're talking some hours here and there, building your audience, doing different things. And yeah, it's going to save you some money as well if you don't do it. And it depends on how much, if you pay other people or if you have a service or if you use, a software as a service. Maybe it's a monthly fee. Maybe it's paying, a tech person, a web person. Maybe it's paying me. There are fees, there are costs to that. And yeah, you're going to save that money. It could be a couple $100. It could be several $1,000s. You could save that, but you'll never know the impact, influence, and income you could make if you don't make your course. So number 5 goes along with that is stop being a cheapskate. Invest in yourself and invest in your course. And I had to learn this the hard way. For years, I always, and I'm still a cheapskate, all right? I would like to say that I'm good with my money, but I'm cheap. But at the same time, I want to be wise with my money. And a lot of times that's investing in myself, investing in growth. So I read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I buy a lot of courses. I'm trying to think, in the last 2 years, I've probably spent maybe $5,000 to $8,000 on courses. All right, so I'm invested in this too. I'm not just trying to sell you stuff and get you to buy my course and all this. Most of you know I rarely pitch. I rarely sell. I rarely, have offers. So stop being a cheapskate. Invest in yourself and invest in that course. It's going to take some investment of time, investment of money. So stop being a cheapskate. All right. And I say that because, and I'm kind of laughing here, because I have been that too. And I know years ago, it kind of opened my eyes. I was like, wow, when I spend some of this money on myself or on technology or on systems or on leverage, I actually get a pretty cool return on this. Maybe I work less or it makes things easier. I remember when I moved my accounting system to a really paid, professional system from this kind of hacked, cheap version. I was like, oh my word, this is so much easier. And when I got a better CPA, when I brought on some of my team for web development and video and different things, I was able to free up my time. And so I could develop some of these things. And that's where this podcast comes about, is I have some time to develop the content, create the content, and put it out there for you guys. So number 6, what are the little things you can do every day or weekly that will bring you towards your goal? Now, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm sure you do as well, and they talk about, take massive action. What's the biggest thing you can do? And I think there are times where you have to do that. You have to throw away the junk food if you want to go on a diet, right? Or there's things you have to, stop saying yes to this so you can say yes to that. But at the same time, I'm a guy that likes to do little things every single day. Maybe that's working out. Maybe that's, looking at my goals. Maybe that's helping people. Whatever that might be, I like to do little things every day and every week that will build towards my goals. So you might think, okay, what are the little things I can do every day or every week that will bring me towards my goal? Maybe it's marketing. Maybe you need to write more content on your website. Maybe you need to plan your course. Maybe you need to market better. So maybe you already have a course. Maybe you need to build your audience, your influence, go on some podcasts, create your own podcast. Maybe it's make some Facebook Live videos. Whatever that is, what are some of the little things you can do every day or every week that will bring you towards your goal? Because making a course is a lot of work. I don't want to sugarcoat this. So there's going to be a lot of things that seem overwhelming, right? If you stare at the course from the bottom of the mountain, it's going to be a tall mountain. But if you take one step up that mountain every single day, you're going to look back on that first week, that second week, that third week, and you're going to go higher and higher towards the goal of your course. Number 7, what are you doing to build your audience and your influence? Now, when I coach people, a lot of times I say, okay, my goals for the next 30, 60 days are plan my course, build my course, and launch my course. I say, okay, great. That sounds fantastic. So how big is your audience? They say, well, I have, maybe either 0 people on my email list or my Facebook page, or maybe they have a few hundred, but what are you doing to build your audience and build your influence? We just talked about the little things you can do every day and every week. So maybe that is a Facebook Live, a podcast, or a podcast interview, or writing on your blog, or creating video content, or writing an email sequence, or writing an ebook, or reaching out to influencers, or reaching out to partners or joint ventures, or doing Facebook ads. There's so many things you can do to build your audience and your influence. And if you're looking for those, go to my website, go to onlinecoursecoach.com. And there's a search option there where you can search for the topic of marketing. And I have several podcasts, several videos on marketing. Watch those, listen to those, and implement those. And that's the most important thing, is implementation. And then number 8, survey your audience. Once you've built your audience, built your influence, talk to your audience, find out what they need, find out what they want, because I've learned this myself. I have all these ideas for courses that I want to create. When I survey people, when I survey my ideal audience, they actually said some things that surprised me. I had all these higher level courses and ideas for a certain topic or industry, and the audience said, you know what? We want something more simple. And so that really opened my eyes. I would have wasted a lot of time. So even if you have a small audience, maybe it's 50 people, 100 people, 300 people, whatever that is, obviously it's easier if you have, thousands of people in your audience, but survey them. Ask them what they need. What are they struggling with? What could they be most helped with? Maybe it is a course. And honestly, maybe it's not. Maybe it's private coaching. Maybe it's a mastermind group. Maybe it's whatever that is, ask your audience. Now, this can be scary because once you ask your audience, then it's both exciting and scary. Once you ask your audience, now you know what they want, but now it's time to deliver. So number 9 is plan your course, right? So plan it. Now, I always recommend to offer your course alongside your audience. When you're first building it, sell the course, sell the idea to your audience. And if enough people buy it, then you can walk them through that course individually, as a group, but they can get that individual attention. Because let's face it, let's say you have 25 people in that first, kind of VIP launch, that personal course creation phase. Man, they're going to get an awesome course, right? They're going to get a personalized course built just for them. So in a way, they should pay 10 times the price, right, that you're offering. So you might offer that as a discount, but you have to offer it for sale. I was just talking to one of my coaching clients recently, and she said, you know what? I didn't offer this first course for sale. I built it, but they weren't invested in it. So I had a friend, I had some family members, I had people that honestly this course wasn't ideal for, and they said that it suffered because she didn't offer it as a paid course, that she built with them. So make sure you build that first course with the people and you sell it for something. It doesn't have to be hundreds or thousands of dollars, but make sure they have skin in the game. So, all right, before we get to number 10, let's review. Number 1, know your why. Number 2, get off the sideline, know your fear, and face it. Number 3, hey, if other people are doing this course thing and they're not any smarter or better than you, then why can't you do it, right? Number 4, know what it will cost if you don't make your course. It might cost you impact, influence, or income. Number 5, stop being so cheap. All right, invest in yourself, invest in your course, invest in your future. Number 6, what are the little things you can do each day, each week that will bring you towards your goal? Number 7, build your audience and your influence through different marketing strategies that I've talked about. Number 8, survey that audience. Number 9, plan your course. And number 10, build your course. All right. Number 10, build your course. Now, that might be by yourself. That might be, hiring somebody, whether it's a coach, can't even talk here, a coach, a tech person, whatever that might be, build the course and get it out there. Get it out there so your students can learn. And this is one of the best, this is a great piece of advice. Maybe it's not the best, all right? That's being overdramatic. A great piece of advice is the beauty of a course is you can always change it. You can modify it, improve it, so your course doesn't have to be perfect before you launch it. Now, it does have to be good. It has to be solid content. It can't be, junk, but it needs to be out there, and then you can improve on it. So those are the 10 steps to finally help you launch your course, whether it's your first course, relaunching a course you had, or launching a new course. Take those 10 steps, implement them this year, this month, and this week, and even today, and get off the sidelines. So let me know what you thought about that. Let me know what you're working on. Send me an email, jeff@onlinecoursecoach.com. Let me know, just what kind of course you're working on. I love to get these emails. I get them all the time, and it's pretty cool to chat back and forth. And then lastly, like I said at the beginning, I know that building a course can be a lot of work. And maybe you don't have the money to hire, me or somebody else that does this professionally, but you still want it to be done in a quality way. Well, I have a system, I have a strategy that I use for outsourcing different parts of course creation. So go to outsourceyourcourse.com where you can sign up to get on the waiting list. And like I said, I'll be building a personalized training just for you. And we're only going to be doing this for a small group of people. I don't want a lot of people in this because I really do want it personalized. I want it to be built just for you, just for your needs. And trust me, I have a whole long list of ideas, strategies, roadmaps, and things that I've done and other people have done that I've learned. That's the beauty of this podcast. I get to interview different influencers that have had successful courses. And some of the best stuff I get to ask them is actually off the air. Like stuff I might not be comfortable to ask them on the air. They might not want to talk about money or some different things. And so I'm able to ask them and get some really cool strategies as well there. So again, if you're looking to get help for your course, maybe you want to learn how to outsource parts of your course. You don't know where to go. You don't know who to trust. You don't want to be burned. You want to find somebody that's competent, that has quality work at a really reasonable or even cheap price. Then go to outsourceyourcourse.com and sign up for that. Well, hey, that is all for today. I've got some really cool things. I feel like I say that every time. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Maybe I don't say this every time. But I've spent the last couple of weeks really planning the next months and year of this podcast. And we're going to be having some really cool things coming out with some different trainings, some different Facebook things. And I really want to help you more. That's my goal, is to, like I said at the beginning, to help you, to teach many so you can impact millions. And so let me know how I can do that. What would help you the most? Is it a mastermind? Is it a private Facebook group? Is it a specific course? Is it, what would that be that would help you the most? Because I know different people need different things. So go to onlinecoursecoach.com, reach out to me through the contact there. Well, all right, that is all for today. Keep coming back to the podcast. Let me know how I can help you. If you're brand new to the podcast, go ahead, listen to some of those back episodes. There's some really good content there, whether it's the interviews or the solo shows. I try to have a good mix in there. So keep coming back to the Online Course Coach podcast, where it is my goal to help you, to teach many, to impact millions.